Okay, clearly I survived bungee jumping. So, today is actually day 12, but I'm gonna wait and tell you about day 11 first, because I know you're all dying to hear how bungee jumping went. It was fucking terrifying. It was the scariest thing I have ever done. It was 165 feet up, which I understand is actually not that high by bungee jumping standards, but for my first time, it seemed pretty high. So the van picked me up at my hotel. We drove an hour out to this place, which is like an adrenaline center. It's called X Center. And so they have like a shooting range and like a go-kart track around the place and some other crazy adrenaline-fueled activities that you can do. But the main attraction is they bring you out to this like valley out back, and there's a big lake, like man-made lake, and then this huge crane. It's a permanent structure. It's not like a crane. It's this like crazy contraption. And they bring you 165 feet up in this elevator after having wrapped your feet, your legs, from ankles all the way to the knees in this weird like foam stuff. And they attach the rope to you, bring you up in this crane, in this platform, and the gentleman says that you have to stand at the edge facing outwards, and you have to spread your arms and just fall. And he's gonna count backwards. He does 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, bungee. And on bungee, you're supposed to just fall. I got up there and I looked down at the lake and I looked around at the mountains and the jungle around me and the scenery. And I looked back at him and I thought, I'm not doing this. I'm not. I just can't do it. Like, this is ridiculous. I'm gonna fall. It was absolutely terrifying. And the only thing that made me do it was that I had already paid for it. You pay like 70 American dollars for this experience, and there's absolutely no refunds. There are signs everywhere that say if you chicken out, they're not giving you your money back. And that was, honestly, that was the thing that made me do it. I was like, I've already paid for this. I'm not gonna not do it. So I did it. But I kept my eyes closed the whole time. So it was a good like 4 seconds of falling, and I heard myself going like, all the way down. Not a scream, just like a resignation that I was about to die, I guess. It sounded a lot like Tina from Bob's Burgers in my mind. And then when I snapped and bounced back, that was when I finally opened my eyes and saw the world spinning around me. And you bounce and you bounce and you bounce and you spin and you spin and you spin, and you're like, I'm gonna toss my cookies. Like, I can't handle this. And I was saying out loud to myself over and over again, you're okay, you're alive, you're okay, you're okay, you're alive, you're okay. And it seemed like forever that I was just dangling upside down over this lake. And finally, I heard the men that run the thing like shouting to me. And I opened my eyes again and I looked, and they were holding out this really long bamboo pole, and they wanted me to grab it. So I grabbed the bamboo pole and pulled myself into shore as they lowered the crane back down. So there was slack in the line, and they were able to sort of like fish me out of the air and pull me into shore. And then they had a mat laid out on the shore of the lake all ready for me. And they pulled me in and they laid me down on the mat, and I started crying. Like, I started weeping. I was just like, I did it! I did it! I did it! I was pretty proud, I'm not gonna lie. The only thing is, I wish I had kept my eyes open the whole time. It was hard. I don't know if I could have. I talked to a lot of people that work at the bungee jumping center, and they all said they've done it multiple times and none of them have opened their eyes. So at least there's that. I'm not the only one. Yeah, it was crazy. It was crazy. You look down and you're like, I'm just gonna fall. I'm just gonna fall. And there's, you know, water underneath you, but even when you hit water from that height, like, you know, it's common knowledge, you know that it's gonna be like hitting concrete. So I'm just like, all right, I might die today. I might die. And I just sort of let it all go and let go. And I did it. And it was pretty epic. I'm pretty glad I did it. It's pretty epic. By the time the van brought me back to my guest house, which was the 60 Blue guest house, it's a ladies only dormitory. They have only 4 beds per room. They're not bunk beds. They're end-to-end beds per room. And the lady that runs it is like your mom. Like, she has anticipated all your needs. She cares about you to the point of like being annoying. And she really wants you to be comfortable and safe. It was a great guest house. It was my favorite place that I've stayed so far. Like, including the luxury hotels and all the other. It was absolutely wonderful. So I got back there, and as soon as we pulled in the driveway of the guest house, like, the tiredness hit me. I was exhausted. The adrenaline had been so high that it just crashed, and I was like, I need a nap. So I took a nap. I took like a good hour-and-a-half long nap, and it was pretty glorious. Then I got up, and so Chiang Mai is known for a dish called khao soi. That's Khao space SOI. It's sometimes spelled differently, but it's their native dish. And it's supposed to be absolutely delicious, and nobody does it like Chiang Mai does it, and so you're supposed to eat it while you're there. And since the night before I was at the night market just eating random food off of carts, I figured tonight I want to reward myself, go to a nice restaurant, and eat some khao soi. So I found like the best rated khao soi place in Chiang Mai, and I went there. It's this place called Ginger Cafe, and it's kind of fancy. I didn't realize it was a little bit more high-end. It wasn't super expensive, but it was just like, you know, the servers all wear button-down shirts, and they refill your water, and they call you miss, and it's just a little fancy. It was my first time ever eating at a fancy restaurant by myself. It felt a little awkward, I'm not gonna lie. I was on my phone most of the time, but the khao soi was worth it. It is the best thing I have ever eaten. Like, I don't ever want to eat anything else. It's rice noodles and like this curry, but the curry has a smoky flavor to it, almost like you mix like a yellow curry with like a Korean barbecue. And then there are chunks of super tender, juicy chicken. And then there are these crispy noodles on top, and there's cilantro and diced onions. And then the topper is they give you a side of diced pickles, and you throw those in there. And it's like, it's spicy enough that you sweat while you're eating it, but it's not so spicy that it hurts your mouth, because that smoky, sweet flavor overpowers any sort of like lingering spiciness. And it's just, oh, it's delicious. So I had a huge bowl of that. And I told them I liked Thai whiskey, so they made me this wonderful Thai whiskey drink with all kinds of stuff in it. I'll post a picture of that. And that was delicious. So after I finished that, I went to the night market again, which I can't even emphasize enough how huge this place is. Like, there's everything for sale there. There's all kinds of people from all over the world hanging out, shopping, all kinds of booths and tables. It is huge. There's so much cool stuff to see. So I went to the night market and I bought a ton of souvenirs. I got stuff for my mom, my dad, my sister, my boyfriend. Like, I went crazy. I got this really cute little passport cover that's personalized. It's like a purple shiny leather book with my name stamped on it, and like a compass and an airplane. It's really cute. It was like $2.50. It was great. So I walked around the night market enough and did enough shopping in the next few hours that I was hungry again. So I went back to the food court and ate all the food. All the food. So much food. Totes delish. So much fun. And this time I was on my own. I didn't like try to make friends with anybody. It didn't happen organically. I just went by myself and just tried all kinds of different foods, and just, I had a good time. It was cool. I was sad to leave Chiang Mai. It was sad. I ended up leaving the food court at the night market around 10. I wanted to be responsible and go to bed early because I had to catch the bus the next morning very early. So I left at 10, and I was walking back to my guest house, and the same girl that had stopped me the night before, Missy, who owns that bar down the street from my guest house called My Bar, like M-A-I, like Chiang Mai, My Bar. She saw me walking by and she was like, Chrissy! She remembered me from the night before. She's like, come drink with us. So I'm like, okay, I can only have one drink because I have to go back to my hostel and pack my stuff and go to bed early. And she was like, yeah, sure. So I went in, and of course, I ended up staying there until 1 a.m. But I got to hear Missy's story. She is such a phenomenal person. She grew up in Toronto, Canada. She fell in love with Chiang Mai in Thailand. She stayed there for much longer than she had originally planned to stay the first time she came. She had come to teach English as a second language to the children of Chiang Mai, and the program she was with ran out of money. And instead of just giving up and going home, she like crowdsourced it and was able to stay for a much longer amount of time so she could continue doing what she was doing, and she could continue living in Chiang Mai, because it's just a great place. Like, I felt at home there. I can see how anybody could move there and live there. Like, I could move there and live there. It's very comfortable there. There's people from all over the world living there, working there, hanging out there. Great place. So she stayed super long. She fell in love with a boy, and she ended up getting pregnant. And her visa ran out, and then somebody stole all her shit. Like, somebody broke into her guest house that she was staying in and stole her passport, all her cash, all her belongings, all her jewelry, everything. So she was pregnant and in a foreign country and destitute. So she ended up going home, and she had her baby in Canada, and she stayed there for a couple of years, and she worked really hard as a bartender to raise enough money to go back. And she picked up where she left off by the time she went back. It was like years later when she went back. Picked up where she left off with the same boy, doing the English as a second language thing. And then just one day, randomly, a friend of her boyfriend's approached her and was like, I've been thinking about buying this bar that's for sale. Do you want to be my business partner and go in on it with me? And she was like, yeah, absolutely. So she was able to take out a loan with this guy in Thailand and buy this bar. And from then on, she has just been a bar owner and operator. And she's a hippy-dippy, peaceful, positive energy, like zodiac sign believing, moon phase trusting sort of person. But she's made it. She's a little bit younger than I am. She's 32. And she's made it. She's doing a great job. Her bar is the best bar on the street. Everyone goes there. It's super comfortable. Everyone loves you. It's really laid back. There's a lot of like artists and hippies that go there. I loved it. The atmosphere was just wonderful. I loved it. So she was telling me her story, and then she said, and my visa is about to run out, and the only way that I can stay here now is if I get married. And my boyfriend and I have been together. Their daughter's 4.5 years old. They've been together off and on for 4.5 years. They have this daughter together. They're doing really well. They're happy together. They live together. So she said that she wanted to get married. And her daughter, her 4.5-year-old daughter, whose name is Zoe, said, you know what, Mom? I think you and Daddy should get married on the 18th of November. And it just so happens that that was last night, and that was the new moon, which is the time for like new beginnings, I guess. And so her boyfriend went through this whole like complicated scheme to get a ring for her and to get their daughter from his mom's house where she was staying, like picked her up in the middle of the night and brought her to the bar and had her daughter propose to her. Like, she brought the ring over to Missy and was like, my daddy wants to know if you will marry him. And everybody in the bar got to witness it, and it was just like an oh kind of moment. Like, it was so lovely. And like, of course, Missy said yes, and she got this beautiful like moonstone ring. So romantic. So they're on to the next portion of their lives together, and they're very excited, and Zoe's very excited. She was talking nonstop about it. My mommy and dad are getting married. It was just so cool to see. It was so great to be there. I mean, I stayed up way too late, and I had a rough go of it the next morning because of it, but honestly, it was so worth it. So now I'm friends with Missy on Facebook, and I can't wait to see what the next few months, few years of her life bring. She's just a great person. So yeah, right now it's like 24 hours later from when that happened. It's pretty late the following day, and I am at my guest house in a town in Laos that I cannot pronounce the name of. It's Huay space Xai. Hawaii Chai, I think? I don't know. This town is just a stopover for where I want to go. So I'll do another video in a minute about how I got here, what it's like here, and all the geckos on the wall. I'll talk to you guys in a little bit. I love you, I miss you.